Hello guys, I'm back outside again. This time we're gonna be working on, I guess, another Z, but my personal Z. Pretty much this is an 06 350Z 6-speed rev up. And so basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna pretty much rebuild the whole car, I guess, to OEM spec. Pretty much what ended up happening is you know, I had the whole issue with the whole title thing. Finally was able to get the title, and the car was running, although it looks kind of rough. You know, it was getting me from point A to point B. Basically I blew the motor, really not doing anything crazy, didn't lose any oil pressure or anything like that, but there's something falling apart inside. So we're gonna, you know, yank the motor out. Definitely gonna check what went wrong and maybe what we could do to prevent that next time. I have, the first time I put it around, I had a spare G35 transmission, which was not a CD09. I threw it in here on purpose. My thing was I was going to slide it, and in case it blew, I wasn't going to blow up the actual CD09 one. But this transmission isn't blown at all. But I do have like issues getting into gears and stuff like that. It's starting to grind, especially second gear. Like I would like downshift or, you know, go from first to second, it just wouldn't go in at all. So we definitely are going to put the CD09 back in. With that being said, I did buy a spare rev up motor. It was a cheap kind of junker one. It had like rod bearing issues or something like that. What I've done so far is I've taken everything apart. It's pretty much, you know, the oil pan, the valve covers, you know, the whole intake stuff, the whole platinum, the front portion of the motor. Everything's gonna get cleaned, get re-gasketed. I guess I'll show you real quick now that I'm out here. Already got the heads machined. Pretty much the whole motor is clean. Oh my god, that scared me. I thought it was gonna fall over, but it was just the floor's uneven there. But yeah, got the whole thing machined. I got the heads machined as well. And then you know, I'm gonna be throwing these knockoff eBay wheels that I guess my brother Brian had laying around. So we're gonna throw these on. They have some Achilles on there with pretty good tread, a lot better than, which is a lot better what I was running, which was like G37 wheels that came with the car. Don't know where they're at, so probably won't show you. But basically what we're gonna end up doing is turning it into a full-blown drift car. That's really why I bought the car for, just a car that I could slide in, that kind of works all the time. Don't have to worry about, you know, maintaining it, except for like the oil and like coolant and stuff. But you know, car that gets me from point A to point B, where I could just buy like a blown rev up again for $300 and fix it, and then, you know, be back on the road. Because I do have a 240 that's not done yet. The garage is a mess, but I do have a 240 that's not done yet. Been there for a couple years, but not been able to finish it, you know, because I don't have the funding like that. But with the Z, everything's a lot cheaper. There's tons of these in the junkyard. So yeah, I guess, like I said, we're gonna be going through the whole car. We got brakes, rotors, pack. We have like a whole Z1 Motorsport care package, you know, just OEM pretty much, Nissan gaskets. We're gonna rebuild the motor. We're gonna rebuild it right. Pretty much what I'm gonna do is just take both motors and make one really strong one, hopefully. You know, buy new head gaskets, like I said, all those seals, and then new head studs, and hopefully it stays good. New clutch, all that. And yeah, we're gonna modify the exhaust a little bit, not too much, so where it sounds like a trumpet, because these could be really obnoxious. And personally, I'm not the biggest fan of straight pipe VQ, so we're just gonna do a muffler delete, or just kind of a change to like one single tip exhaust. Hopefully it gets a little bit louder, but like not too loud. Do live in Cali, so I don't want to get shade roughed or nothing like that. But yeah, we're gonna be going to the whole motor, like I said. And in the interior, we're gonna be putting our Nardi. I don't know if you can see it. And pretty much for the interior, what we're gonna be doing is getting rid of the OEM steering wheel. OEM steering wheel, putting on the new door card from Brian's drift car, which has really just turned into a parts car at this point. I don't know if it's a drift car anymore, but that's besides the point. We're going to be changing the steering wheel. The OEM one, getting rid of the airbag. Have a like old Nardi steering wheel. I think it's like 360 millimeter in diameter. It's a pretty good size. Have all this is just eBay stuff. You know, the adapter for the Nardi to the quick release, and then the hub, you know, to obviously get rid of the OEM steering wheel. First one in the interior is going to be, you know, just cleaning it up really well, putting some new pillars, you know, getting rid of like these ones that have fabric on it. I don't know why it has these, but they're glued on, so I'm going to be changing the pillars, putting a new door card, stealing one from Brian's car, as well as for that side, because there's, you know, there's a rip right there, cleaning up the whole trim. Don't know why there's a candle in there, but there's a candle. You know, just painting everything really well, all this as well. And yeah, second thing we're gonna do is, you know, put a hydro setup in there, you know, dual caliper, nothing too, you know, fancy, like as far as brake calipers go, just another OEM, you know, 350Z rear caliper, just with the dual setup. I got the line for that as well. So, but I guess before we do any of that, as far as getting into the interior part of the build, what we have to do first is really tear the whole car apart. Already got the wheels off, got the car on jack stands, 4 jack stands. Might be a little sketch because the floor is a little uneven because we have a tree right here, but it is what it is. And yeah, what we got to do first now, I guess, is just take off the whole front end setup, the crash support, and then obviously, you know, it gives us a lot more leeway to get to the motor, because we got to yank that out, because like I said, I want to see exactly what went wrong with the motor, and then, you know, obviously I have to steal some parts from this one for the other motor, like I said, to make one good motor out of both of them, and then hopefully, you know, we could finish this build really quickly, and then hopefully I could be a little bit more consistent as far as, you know, kind of videoing what I'm doing. But yeah, I feel like I've been talking for a while, so I guess let's just get started. Let's pull the motor. So let's do it. Alright guys, it's ooh, there you go, there's the lighting. Alright guys, it's day 2. I'm gonna do this really quick. I don't know if the last clip got recorded or not, because I stopped seeing the record button, but basically from the other day I just needed a couple things. You know, disconnect the whole harness, you know, the grounds from down here, as well as, you know, stuff from like the vacuum system, as well as the coolant lines that go to the heater core in the back. Let me see if I can fix the lighting real quick. Like that one, and then there's another one back there I had to cut that because I couldn't, you know, get it out. The bracket on there broke, but cutting it off is okay. I already got a whole kind of silicone kit as far as the lines go, so we're going to be changing that, so it doesn't even matter. So cut that shit off. Disconnected the whole harness through the hole that goes down here. That's the way I found easier to do as well. That's what I found easy to do on the Z's, instead of disconnecting everything here on the engine. Just disconnect the ECU ones and snake this through the hole. I already covered it so that, you know, nothing goes in there, hopefully, because, you know, we don't want that to happen. But yeah, on the bottom side of the car, I disconnected, you know, the last couple things that I needed. For example, like the cats, pretty easy, just 2 bolts, or sorry, 3 bolts. One was facing towards the bottom, so you would have to go through the bottom of the car, which is you know, pretty simple. But it is pretty annoying because 2 of the bolts on each side was facing, you know, towards the engine bay, so I had to use like 3 or 4 extensions to be able to take them off. So that was pretty annoying, but I was able to do it, so I'm pretty sure you can do it. I mean, if you're doing your Z or whatever, I barely know what I'm doing, and I was able to do it. But like I said, got everything off that we needed. Everything is drained from the other day, like I showed: transmission, coolant, engine. I think I just need to disconnect the cylinder for the clutch, because I just remembered that. But yeah, hopefully the drive shaft kind of slips off. I think last time that's how I did it. Hopefully, because I don't want to take off the whole exhaust, because I left, you know, kind of like the cap back, everything after the cap, kind of hanging on there, because I didn't have to take it off. So hopefully I don't have to take off the drive shaft, because then it's come down, because I'm pretty sure it's in the way. at least from what I remember seeing when I was down there. As far as the shift boot and everything goes, just took off the shift boot, just 4 bolts. That comes off. The rubber piece is somewhere over there. The lighting is really bad. Let me see if I can fix that a little bit. The boot is over there somewhere. Oh, and I was struggling, you know, getting out the the connection for the ECU. I had to take off this little kind of panel. This one from the driver's side under the airbag. It was like 2 or 3 bolts, and then the rest I just kind of yanked out. And then after that, it was just like a matter of disconnecting things with like flathead screwdriver as far as the connections go. But Jesus Christ, I'm white as fuck. But pretty much what we're gonna be ending up doing now is, I guess, taking off the motor. While I was down there, you know, I saw a couple things that we need to, you know, order still. This boot, I guess, is okay, but the other one is bad for the lower control arm. The power steering is leaking, which is no bueno. So we're gonna get that rebuilt. We need to buy like these control arms. I don't know what these are called, the Z's, but I'm just gonna say upper control arms. All the boots are kind of bad, and you know, have no grease in them. So definitely when I was driving, I was hearing some type of like weird like noise, like metal sounds. So we're gonna take care of that noise, whatever it was. But I guess for now we're gonna be using this hoist. Hopefully you know, I don't struggle too much. This hoist is older, probably older than me. This hoist is probably older than me, if I'm being honest, and as of lately it definitely does not want to roll. So hopefully I don't struggle too much. But yeah, I'm gonna put the hoist, probably put the jack under, because I need to disconnect the 4 bolts that hold the cross member for the transmission, so that falls. I don't want it to kind of just fall all the way down, so I'm gonna use the jack to kind of adjust. That's probably enough talking, but yeah, let's just get right into it and yank the motor out. I'm back. Finally took the motor out. A bit difficult. Took the motor out all in one piece with transmission. It was pretty hard. I forgot how hard it was. The steering column was the first thing hitting, and you know, it was hitting the flange, the end of the exhaust manifold right there. So you know, that was something. And then the belt housing for the transmission hangs a little bit low. It kind of creates like an arc going down. And so these power steering lines were definitely in the way. So it was in between, kind of holding it up, angled to the left, and then enough for the transmission to kind of pass by. It was kind of difficult. I was able to do it though with the drive shaft in. Probably next time though I will take it out, because it was in the way for a little bit. But nevertheless, like I said, the motor is out finally. I guess I also saw exactly where it was leaking. Well, I don't know exactly where it's leaking, but basically it was leaking coolant somewhere in the back. The whole exhaust manifold right here is wet, which explains why I was smelling coolant that was burning. So I was like slowly killing myself in the car. But yeah, the new motor, new gaskets, we're gonna, you know, completely tear it down and then put it back together right. Make sure this never happens, because this happened when it overheated. I don't know exactly what gasket blew up, but a gasket blew up and started leaking only like high RPMs, or starts leaking in the back, and then it goes up through the cabin, and I can smell it when I drive. So yeah, that's gonna be nice to finally fix that. It's probably the end of today's video, but yeah, I guess the next one we're gonna open it up. We're gonna really see what happened, because it didn't blow up per se, as in like a piston going through the block, but there's definitely a connecting rod of the piston kind of loose or something in there, because it sounds like a big thud. So hopefully, you know, we could see that. Hopefully the block is savable, because I'm gonna save it. Hopefully by next year we could build like some crazy NA setup with this car. You know, the better we get at drifting or whatever. But yeah, so that would be next video. But then yeah, hopefully we can finish this car pretty quick. It is, like I said, OEM spec, OEM plus spec, you know, drift car build. After we do that, after we look at what went wrong, we may need to use the head, because I had a head issue with the one I bought with the machine shop. I guess I'll explain that in the next video. But basically, after we do, you know, the tear down, we're gonna move on to the engine bay, repainting it, get this power steering rack rebuilt, because it is leaking from the boot, and also from like a side. I can't, somewhere that you can't really see, but there's a bolt that's leaking, so I think it'd be better to just get it rebuilt, so everything's kind of nice and good. You know, get new tie rod ends, because you know the bushings are bad and whatnot. And then after there, you know, go through the brakes and the interior, the hydro and all that. Yeah. Like I said, that's it for today, and I guess I'll see you guys next time. Peace.